the Supreme Court has spoken. In an expected reaction from the nation's highest court, justices unanimously ruled to preserve access to the abortion drug Mifepristone. The justices said that pro-life groups lack the legal right to sue over the FDA's approval of the medication. The plaintiffs argued the FDA's decision to allow the drug to be used without an in-person doctor's visit jeopardized women's health. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, a Catholic, wrote the unanimous opinion, saying in part, quote, plaintiffs are pro-life, oppose elective abortion, and have sincere legal, moral, ideological, and policy objections to Mifepristone being prescribed and used by others. For more, let's bring in Heather Hacker, an appellate attorney and former assistant solicitor general in Texas, who filed an amicus brief in this case. Heather, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. This ruling certainly a blow to pro-lifers. Were you surprised by the justice's decision?
I was honestly not surprised, and I don't think that many court watchers were surprised either, just based on the way that the questioning went at oral argument. It did definitely seem like most justices were concerned with the standing issue, which ended up being the key issue that decided the case. So it seemed at oral argument that many of the justices were skeptical of the plaintiff's standing theory here, and so it's really no surprise that that is what the majority opinion ultimately ended up focusing on.
And what does that mean for Danco Laboratories, the pharmaceutical company that manufactures the abortion drug Mifepristone?
So they intervened as a defendant in the case along with the Food and Drug Administration. And so I believe that they made similar arguments here. And so this is the ruling will ultimately result in the dismissal of this lawsuit. Now, whether or not another lawsuit could be brought addressing the same merits-based arguments here against the approval of the drug, that's a different question. And I think that's something that, you could look to see in the future, that there may be another case brought with a different party as a plaintiff that would satisfy what the court said about standing.
Yeah, and what do you think this decision means for the Biden administration, and what type of impact, if any, could it have in the November presidential elections?
I'm not sure that it will have a major impact. I'm sure the Biden administration would count this as a success. I mean, certainly if you are on the right side of a unanimous opinion at the U.S. Supreme Court, that's certainly a victory. I think that, I think that really what's happening here is that the ultimate battle, whether or not the 2000 approval for the drug or the 2016 or 2021 or 2023 changes to the prescription regime, whether those are legitimate or not, that question, I guess, has survived to be asked another day by a different plaintiff. So, the questions will arise again, I think. It's just that for now, I guess this could be counted as a victory for the administration.
Are there any other big takeaways from today?
So, again, it was a unanimous opinion, so all the justices agreed. And Justice Thomas actually wrote a concurring opinion where he voiced the opinion that, like the pro-life doctors in this case did not have standing to assert claims on behalf of their patients, that it was his opinion that neither should pro-abortion doctors have standing to assert claims on behalf of their patients, which, of course, they have been doing for many, many years since Roe v. Wade. So that was an interesting statement. And then Justice Thomas also raised some questions about a doctrine called associational standing, but he was the only justice that wrote on those two issues. So those were his interests, but no one else joined that. So it will be interesting to see what, if anything, becomes of those two issues later on.
Yeah, for sure. Heather, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you for having me.